Hi, welcome to the 5th postpartum workout. So we're about halfway through this series now, which means that today part of the workout is going to be bringing awareness back to our abs again for several breaths while we're moving in different ways, just to see, like, gauge the progress and gauge to see where you are, reconnect with your abs in the different ways that you would normally engage them. Today is going to be also a very heavily pelvic floor focused workout. And so if you're still feeling it, at the last exercise number 4, I would suggest you take a day or at least 2 break if you haven't already before jumping into this. Not because these exercises are so difficult, but because especially after baby, or if you haven't moved your muscles and engaged them this much, in a while or ever even, it might just be a lot, and you can just feel a lot of soreness here. You might get like hip cramps. It's not fun. I needed to take a break. So give yourself some time. Totally okay. We're going to jump into it. Today we're going to be doing a 5-minute, again, it's going to be about 30-minute workout. We're going to do a 5-minute warm-up. Then we're going to engage our abs in different ways for a few breaths in different directions. We're going to do 3 sets of exercises that all engage the pelvic floor, and we're going to do a cool down. So once again, you're welcome to go back and repeat any of the 3 exercises once or twice, or repeat the whole thing to make the workout a little longer, a little more difficult if you want a little more engagement. But for this video, we're only doing everything once. We're keeping it to about 30 minutes. Right? Let's get started. We're going to start by walking for about 2 minutes. So first, don't worry about what your stomach is doing and just walk. You might notice that now you're even getting used to just pulling your shoulders back and just walking. See if I can get this video a little closer. All right, you can vary speeds, but really what I want you to do is just walk slowly. Maybe pay attention to what you're doing. Do you see yourself holding your breath? Are you automatically clenching your abs? Do you feel like they're engaged? Or do you feel like you're just holding your breath and weirdly clenching muscles in this area, but not necessarily the way that I showed you how? Because that can also be something. You're getting used to getting something activated in your core, but not necessarily what you should be. So we're a minute in, stop, shoulders back, breathe out and tighten. And now with that concentrated tightness, walk. And again, just like I mentioned last video, should be able to at least slowly walk, lifting your feet off the ground. We're not doing anything too strenuous today, so don't worry about pacing yourself too much. We're mostly laying on the floor, although the workouts will really work out your pelvic floor area. It's, no lunges, no big squats, none of that. Okay, 10 more seconds, and then we're going into our modified jumping jacks. Right. This is my personal preferred way of doing it. These videos are not intended to have you do full jumping jacks. If you're there, you probably don't need to watch this. As you become more aware of your abs, what you might find helpful is when you're in this position, you're lifting our arms up, that's when you breathe out a little bit, just to pull your stomach in a little closer to get that extra engagement when you have all your limbs as far away from your core as as possible. And then you can speed it up. You can add a little hop to it, right? Five more seconds. Right? And one more. All right. Now, breathe out, engage, right? And start circling your arms slowly. If you need to get your heart rate down a little bit, you can put your arms on your hips and start by, kicking back like this. So remember, no shoulders forward, roll them back, engage, tighten. You want your pelvis aligned, not like this, but straight down, up and down. Okay. And then if you can do at least a few of them, right? We're working our way up. I don't want to kill your arms. I don't want to kill your shoulders. This is already a workout. If you're slowly increasing the amount of time you can do these arm circles for. And then forward if you are going backwards, go backwards if you are going forwards, reverse direction. Right, now a little more than hip width apart, right? And then we start reaching forward. If you can do a little bit more, see if you can keep that engagement. The thing is, you might have your stomach engaged, but not your pelvic floor muscles, so you might still be feeling that urge to pee. If that's your case, stand with your feet as close together as you can while being able to, feeling like you're gonna hold it all in, and then just lean forward as much as you can. So it might be harder to hold your ab engagement then, but at least you don't worry about any other unpleasant things. So if you're here, only lean forward as much as you can while holding that tightness. So really in this case, it's just a twist that you're working out. If you have enough muscle and bladder control, they can do this. You can maybe stand out more and do a little bit of a twist. Or, you've been doing this the whole time. One more each side. All right, now I'm going to shake it out. We're going to start from 0 so you can really engage those abs and see where you're at. So breathe out, let it all in, right? Don't worry about holding in your stomach. Just like when you're relaxing after a long day, you're just plopping on the couch. You don't care what body part's going where, you're just letting it all loose. Now what I want you to do is breathe out, right? So a deep breath in and tighten that stomach in and hold it there for 3 breaths. So I want you to be standing here. Maybe you even have a hand on your stomach, making sure it's nice and tight. Breath in. And this might be what your breathing looks like right now. Just breathe in and tighten out. The idea is you're not letting go of this tightness, right? So you're taking another breath in through your nose, forcing it out through your mouth. One more. Now we're going to hold this as we're going to walk. Might be easy enough if you're just holding your breath, or maybe you're just pedaling your feet like this. And don't stop doing that. Breath in. Breathe out. You might notice that you're starting to drop it a little bit when you're breathing in, but that's okay. Just keep pedaling, keep holding the tightness. Okay, now stop walking, right? That was engaging our lower ab. And now hold that tightness. Arms out, breathe in. Tighten up. Breathe in. Tighten up. Breathe in. Tighten up. And just see what you're doing. You might not even notice if you're really letting out your stomach all the way or not, but as long as you're consciously retightening and you're able to at least feel that kind of, muscle motion as you're moving your arms in the different ways, that is totally fine. Now, breathe out, and we're gonna twist a little bit. You might be holding your breath now, that's okay. Hold in the tightness, twist, breathe in, push out, and see if you can actually get a little bit more engagement while you're pushing your breath out and twisting. Breathe in, twist, push it out while getting more engagement. Notice if you're overcompensating in other ways. Maybe you notice that you're clenching your knees, you're clenching your butt, maybe you're pulling your arms up. That's all fine. Get it all out, and then make sure your stomach is just nice and tight still. Right? Last thing now, we're going to do a slight side bend. So breathe out, tighten, bend to the side, push it out. See, if maybe as you're okay bending to the side as you're holding it in, but if you're supposed to retighten while you're bent, that's harder for you. Still try to engage those muscles though. Last one. Breathe in. Breathe out to tighten while you're bending to the side. All right, let's do that one more time all the way through. All right, that might have been a little hard. Yeah, you got a lot of awareness right there. Let go of your stomach. Whatever you need to do, shake it out. Breathe out tight. Breathe in. Breathe out the tightness. Start walking. Breath in. Force it out. Now, if you want a little bit of a challenge, keep walking while you're doing this. Otherwise, we're just going to do the arms. Breathe in. Force your breath out to tighten a little more. Breathe in. Force your breath out to tighten more. Breathe in. Force your breath out to tighten even more. Now, breathe in. Force it out. Breathe in. Force it out. If you are not able to hold your tightness while your arms are out, put them back on your waist. And you can repeat this one more time while we're doing the side bend. So breathe in. As you're forcing it out, try to keep that tightness in. Breathe in. Tightness out. Okay, now you're going to need a mat for today. Sorry, I didn't mention that at the beginning. See if you see, some kind of softer surface. Yoga mat would be ideal. We're gonna get on the floor now. So where we're starting today is heel drops. So all of these, like I said, get ready for some serious pelvic floor work. That's what we're doing. These are healing both this exercise series in particular, this group of 4 that we're doing, is going to target both your ab separation and your pelvic floor. So remember, you're never going straight back, even slightly, like just go on your side, roll onto your back. And what I want you to do is bend your knees, whatever way is comfortable. So you might have them a little further out, you might have them closer in. I'm telling you right now, closer in is easier, and you don't want to have a gap, right? I can't fit my fingers here between myself and the floor. And now you lift one foot up, drop it. One foot up, drop it. So this exercise was designed to have you hold a tabletop, but I understand that it's a very difficult position to start in. Your stomach might be doming out as you're doing this, and we don't want that. So originally, this is the exercise, but we're doing it in reverse. We're starting off with feet on the ground. That's our starting point. So we're not really keeping the stomach constantly engaged, because I think that's just a lot of work for us. So instead, we're just engaging it bit by bit as we're lifting our feet up one by one. Okay, start in 3, 2, 1. And remember, you can always breathe out and tighten. Or if you really struggled with the last set of exercises, don't worry. As long as you keep your back glued to the floor, your abs are going to be engaged. You're not doming out. You're in good form. The right muscles are being worked during this exercise. Okay, we're halfway there. And you might notice that your lower back is trying to come out. It's trying to arch. Keep it glued to the floor. That's the only thing you're concentrating on now. Don't worry about what your abs are doing, because if your back is on the floor, they should be engaging exactly the right way. To challenge yourself a little bit, you can hold it here for 3, 2, 1. Switch. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're going right into the next one. We're going to slide those heels. So yoga mats are not typically the slipperiest surfaces. So don't worry about sliding. You just want to just gently move your foot out. And again, notice that if your back, you see my back is starting to arch like that, keep it on the floor. That's actually really working on your abs, because you're also stretching out these muscles. You might have really tight hip flexors, and this helps that as well. And also keeping your feet closer to your butt helps you keep your back on the floor. So keep that in mind as well. I'm going to do this for 15 more seconds. And we're gonna move right into the next exercise, which is the clamshell. We're gonna be on our side. So roll over in 2, 1. All right, just go right to your side. Legs bent, knees stacked on top of each other, ankles stacked on top of each other. Make sure you're not just dropping into that shoulder. You want to push it away from you. And we're going to start lifting up. So this one again is an easy exercise in terms of you don't need to worry about engaging your abs, because by having the proper form here, they will be properly engaged. So we're not dropping in like this, right? You want to have space between your shoulder and your neck, and you want to be in a straight line. You're not dropping like this. You want a straight line from your shoulder to your hips. Okay, we're almost there. You can also straighten your legs out a little bit more if you want to challenge yourself, see which one feels better. If you're maybe put your legs forward a little bit more, it doesn't matter. Just the fact that you're lifting your leg like this engages the right muscles that we're trying to target with this workout. Last one, flip it right over. We're not wasting time here. Okay, stack them. Same thing. You don't want to start from here. Get that engagement. All right, we're halfway through. And you might notice that you're actually getting tired already. All we did was 1.5 minutes of targeting this area, and your muscles might already be feeling it. If that's where you are, that's completely fine. Then you can take a break while we do the 4th exercise, because then what we're moving on to is all 4s. And I'm going to show you what the modifications are for that as well. Okay, 2 more. 1, 2. And we're going right into side plank. So I just want you really to hold this. That's it. Just right here. You can do, of course, a lot more if you want to. If you want to challenge yourself, you could put 1 foot out. You just want to keep that line. So if having your leg up is making your leg cramp up, or you're having a hard time, go back. Otherwise, see how far you can go. Maybe you can do this. You want your hips stacked on top of each other. And if you're feeling a little adventurous, maybe you can bend your leg again. Maybe you can do this. Right? Wherever you are, just hold that for another 15 seconds. Or hold this for as long as you can. And then maybe for the last 5 seconds. You don't want this, right? This is not the side plank. So if you're going down, you want to keep that engagement in that line. So if you're going down on your hip, go down on your elbow as well. All right, now we're going on the other side with the side plank. So get ready. Whichever one you started with before, maybe you want to start again this time with challenging yourself a little bit and having that top leg out. This might actually be easier to keep your hips stacked as well. So that depends. If your knees are sensitive and you're having a hard time with them stacked on top of each other, this might actually give you a little bit more balance. So this might actually be easier than this. Like I said, this is not necessarily about having to work on engaging your abs, because just having the proper position in this engages them already. And if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, going to hold this for a few more seconds. 15 more. If you feel like you're struggling, you can always drop down to your elbow and your hip. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now what we're doing is sitting pelvic tilt. So what we're doing here is you're going to just sit down, right? Roll your shoulders back. And you're just going to go right into that, where you're kind of rolling on your butt. You roll forward, you roll back. So your shoulders will also naturally move. Don't worry about that. All you want to do is you're really focusing on rotating your pelvis. If you want to try it with your knees bent, and that might be easier for you. So you're rolling back on your butt, and you should feel yourself going on and off of your sit bones. Okay, 2 more. Right. Now what we want to do is the bird dog. So that means, remember before when I said you're working against gravity here, it might be really hard to pull your stomach up if you're right here. So if this is where you are, then what I suggest you do is find a chair, a couch, a wall, something, and only stand up like this. Maybe you're just leaning forward ever so slightly, not even 45 degrees. And you can still do the exercises. And we'll just do this here. So this one is a little more difficult because we're extending 2 body parts away from your core and we're moving them. So we're only going to do each of these for 30 seconds per side. Keep going, my laptop died. Okay. And then you switch sides. So for me that was here. Or if you feel like you can push it out, get that engagement, and you want to try it on all 4s, then go right ahead. 4, 5, 6, we're going to do 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, take a little 10-second break. Deep breath out. Your stomach is probably on fire right now. Next thing that we're doing is going to be probably the hardest of the batch, which is leg pulse it up. So if you are able to push it out, push out the breath, hold in your stomach, put out a leg, and pulse it up. This is what you're doing. If you are not here, you're going to hold on to something, lean forward as much as you can, and then do that. All right, so starting 3, 2, 1. So we're not putting the leg up and down. You're really engaging that core right now. Don't go too fast. We're not doing counts here. We're going timed. So if you just do it faster, you're going to tire yourself out faster. You're not going to get any added benefit from it. 3, 2, 1. Switch sides. Again, if you feel like you can't really hold on to it that much, straighten up a little bit more. We just want to keep that engagement down here. We're pulsing the leg up and down, we're not doing this because then you can be, using force or momentum to get your foot off the ground. Okay, now, like we did push-ups before, we are doing push-ups. So if you are on all 4s, you can stay there and just keep your engagement. Just keep pushing out your breath, keep having that stomach engaged. If you feel like you got that point and you're there, if you move your feet, you notice that I'm not in perfect tabletop position here. With my legs a little further back, I find it actually easier. My knees are hip width apart and I am not in perfect hands and knees pose. Because over here you can't really go down too much. You could, but I find it slightly easier to do the modified push-up with my hands a little bit in front of my body and my knees a little bit behind my hips and spread further apart. So then I can easily engage. And then this might be it. This might be your push-up right now. And you can lean up on a couch, you can lean up on a chair, a wall. Okay, I want you to do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now I just want you to hold. And notice if you're pushing anything out or if you're pulling your stomach in or if you're losing that engagement And just try to really keep that tightness. Try to engage the muscles that are keeping your pee in, right? For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, take a little bit of a break. We have 4 more exercises, last round, and then we're going to stretch. Now this one, we're no longer on the floor, so you can move your mat away as well. These are all about the pelvic floor. So there actually are some squats involved today and some lunges, but we're going to make them super gentle and really, really focused on engaging your pelvic floor muscles, right? It's not so much about the abs today as it is about the pelvic floor. So breathe out, engage, and see, this is straight, this is to this side. What we're doing is diagonal. Just take it one step. So it's like about 1, 2 feet, like there should only be about a foot distance between your feet, and you just go a tiny bit and you twist. Like I said, it's not about the lunges so much, it's about the engagement. So breathe out, tighten, engage that pelvic floor. Like if you're holding in your pee right now, step diagonally, twist, back. And the hardest part here is pulling your foot back, so that's when I want you to breathe out. So take a breath in, diagonal lunge, twist. Force your breath out. Breathe in, breathe out. And just see how you're breathing, like which way works best for you. It might be that when you reach here, you want to breathe out when you're at your furthest point. It might be that you're breathing out as you're pulling back in. For me, it's as I twist and I pull back. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more. Again, don't worry about like big fancy twists, which side you're going. The idea is you're just getting a little twist in that muscle. So whether you go this way or that way, or you do both ways, that's fine. What you want is just to really be in that diagonal stance while you're twisting and breathing out. That is your focus. Okay, let's do just 1 more each side. Okay, now we're going to do 1 leg lifts. So I just remember these from our balance series. What I want you to do is hold on to something. Put your big toe on the ground of 1 foot, tighten in, and lean forward. This might be it. But while you're doing this, what I want you to do is keep that pelvic floor engaged. Pretend you're holding in your pee. And your stomach, right? Going to do 6 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the other side. Breathe out, right? Force that engagement. And 1, 2, we're doing 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, shake it out. Now is the hardest one, the squat. This will be a little bit differently. It will be the same squat, but I want you to have a different focus this time. What I want you to do now is breathe out, tighten. Just a little bit. Move your feet as far apart as you can while still holding that, right? Make sure you clench those butt muscles. Clench, 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 hold, and down. That's it. Now re-clench again. Down, down, down as far as you can, and then when you feel like you're letting go, you pop back up again. I don't want you to, at any point, be in that position where you can't hold it in a particular stance. So hold it down as much as you can and back. And we're not leaning forward, right? We're not doing this, which you might find yourself doing. So pull everything in and go back. If this is it, then this is it. This is what you're doing. Okay, for 10 more seconds. Reclench if you need to reclench every time you're up, and then you just slightly bend your knees. That's all I want you to do is just keep that clench. Right, And last one. I want you to do sorry, my phone was acting up. All right, shake it out. Last exercise before we stretch. Tighten. Arms out. Walk. Tighten. Breathe in. 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 Tighten. And we're done. I hope you feel like you were really engaged and you really got connected to your pelvic floor a little bit more. Don't worry if you are unable to really squat too far, lunge too far, hold it in those muscles for too long. I will be giving you tips in just a second on what you can do. One of them is just to keep doing these exercises, but the other one is if you've ever heard of something called a yoni egg. That would be a great thing if you're feeling up for it. That's something that I wouldn't recommend if you're within like 2 months after having a baby, or if you have a really weak pelvic floor where you're, you actually have an incontinence issue. So that's something different if, you really need to pee and you have a big sneezing fit and you feel a little bit, a little trickle. That's something totally different. But if you're at that point, then whatever you feel comfortable with. But if you can't stand apart, if you can't do a little hop, if you're unable to have any kind of engagement while you're squatting, I would hold off on using the egg. But if you are at those points already, then what you can do is you can use the egg and just walk around with it even for 5 minutes in your day, and you're going to start noticing differences. And I wouldn't use it every single day because again, that would be too much, but just like start with maybe once a week for 5 minutes while you're walking around the house, and just see if you can hold it in so it doesn't fall out. And you'll notice eventually your muscles will start to tighten up a little bit more, that you can incorporate them into your workouts. So not necessarily working out with the egg, but being able to focus on those muscles when I'm asking you to engage them in the exercises. All right, last one. Lift your arms up, look back a little bit, and lean forward. So I'm going to stretch out a little bit more for 2 more seconds. All right, and when you stand up, just have your legs up and just hang over a little bit. You want to loosen everything up. And we're going to do another neck stretch here. So remember where you could put your fingers wherever feels good for you. That can intensify the stretch. And you don't need to push down hard. Just resting your hand over there will really make a difference, and you should be able to feel it in your neck. All right, that is it. Thank you so much for joining. Next time we will be doing more pelvic floor, your side muscles, and your arms. So take a break after today. Look up yoni eggs if you don't know what they are and how you can use them and when it's safe to do so. And I'll see you again for the pelvic floor, for more pelvic floor work.